All right. So this section is going to discuss interview questions, essential technical questions, mostly technical questions we're going to discuss in here. Now, when you go for job interview, they can ask any kind of technical questions, but majority of them should be within your scope. So that means if you apply for any service desk role, any IT engineer role, any level 1 level IT support role, that kind of scenario, some common questions they may ask. For example, these days, almost every businesses they are using Microsoft 365, which is known as mostly Office 365. So how to log into Office 365, how to manage users, how to create a users, how to assign license to them, how to create a groups, how to assign users to a group, right? What is Azure AD? Azure AD is a Active Directory domain services in the cloud. So basically with the Azure AD, our new name is Microsoft Entra ID. With the Azure AD or Entra ID, we can create users, groups, we can assign license, right? Those kind of things we can do in the cloud. So this is mostly we call it software as a service. So majority of the businesses, they actually using this one. Also part of this Microsoft 365, we have a OneDrive, SharePoint, right? With the OneDrive is a storage. We can save all our files and stuffs over there. You can log into OneDrive from your PC. After that, you can save your information. So those informations will be saved in the cloud. This is kind of like a cloud backup as well. In case if you lose your any work in your PC, you can go back to cloud and you can check from there as well. They have a backup, like if anything you delete, they have a recycle bin from there. You can recover it within 30 days. And similar sort of things, we have a Google Drive, or we call it G Suite, basically. OneDrive and Google Drive, so they are similar. That is also derived from Google. How to create, provide access to share files. So this maybe you have used like Google Drive. Many people using Google Drive and share file with that. They create a link and share with other people. Same thing you can do with OneDrive as well. So OneDrive and Google Drive, they're very similar. So pretty much we need to know how to share the file from here. In terms of email, usually we set up email these days in mobile phones. Mobile phones, they are very popular. Mobile phones or like tablets, we set up this email. We download the apps and after that we set up our email. Then we have Outlook issues as well. Sometimes some people they're using Outlook. Outlook means that's Outlook apps you download your computers and after that you configure email over there. But sometimes if Outlook issues, any issues happen, maybe we need to ensure that user folder and everything has proper backup. After that, we can uninstall the Outlook and then install again. Also email setup, mobile phone, like maybe if you want to do any new setup, you need to download email apps, maybe Gmail or Outlook apps from App Store or Google Play. And then after that, you need to configure that one. Microsoft Office applications. Microsoft Office application means, let's say, that is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, right? Those kind of things, basically. PowerPoint, those kind of things, basically, you install. Many people, they're using these stuffs online, but many people, they prefer to install this one in their computers. So mostly based on your subscriptions, you can download the Microsoft Office applications, such as Word, PowerPoint, Excel. These are the three common things we are using. Also, Teams need to install in your mobile phone. Also, Teams need to install in your in the cloud. From the browser based, you can also use the Teams as well. So in case like somehow something happened with your on-premises Teams, Then you can basically, you can access the Teams from the browser as well. Operating system, let's say Windows operating system, you should be knowing how to install Windows operating system, how to configure operating system, how to assign computer name. Then make sure like your computer has internet connections. Make sure you get the IP address from DHCP, right? All the basic operating system related setup you should be knowing. So you may get some questions around that in the interview. And another one is a uh, Mac operating system. So Mac also many people using. So many company they provide a Mac device to their employees as well. You need to know basic Mac management. Let's say how to use like start menu or Mac desktop, Mac dock, Mac Finder, right? Something you install, how to install applications on Mac. Those kind of things you need to know as well. Because in a working environment, we need to support these days Windows device, Mac device, and also like Android phone and also iOS phone. This is very common. We need to support pretty much all these devices, mobile device plus the laptop as well, laptop or desktop. Now, Active Directory, what is Active Directory? So Active Directory is one of the directory service where we can create users, username and password. We can create groups. We can create OU, which is organizational unit. We can enable, disable account. We can reset the password, right? We can unlock the account. We can get the login details for the user. We can join a, PC to uh, Windows Active Directory domain services as well, right? All these things we can do from Active Directory domain services. Active Directory domain services is one of the directory service where mostly all these users, groups, OU, they reside. In terms of networking questions, network related questions, maybe they ask something related with LAN. What is a LAN? LAN is a local area network. It could be one small office. It could be one of the floor. It could be one of the building. All the network and stuffs you connect. You may have a switch, router, all the cable connectivity. So basically, that is local area network. Local area network, as IT people, we manage by ourselves. We can set up like, let's say any PC, you can connect to that PC to Wi-Fi. We can provide internet connections, all these stuffs. That is LAN. What is a wide area network? WAN connection is basically, let's say, wide area network. Uh, if you have two offices, let's say you have an office in Sydney, you have an office in Melbourne. Now, Sydney and Melbourne office, you want to have a private connectivity. That kind of scenario, you have this wide area network connections. Wide area network connections provided by ISP. So another thing's called VPN, which is a virtual private network. VPN is alternative to wide area network. So VPN, you can create top of the internet connections. Once you have internet connections, then by using those internet connections, you can create a private link from your Sydney office to Melbourne office, for example, and that is VPN. So wide area network connections provided by ISP, but VPN you can create by yourself. Then some other things called VLAN. VLAN is a virtual LAN. Usually in our network environment, when you have a layer 2 switch and layer 3 switch, that environment we creating layer 2 broadcast domain. So over there we create VLAN. And once you have a VLAN, for each VLAN we have separate subnet. So by configuring the VLAN, we actually create separate broadcast domain. So VLAN is very important because with that, we can reduce the broadcast domain and we can improve the um, uh, switch management, and also we can improve the switch performance as well. Access control list. What is access control list? Is provide IP address. It's actually one of the security features. Access control list, it will allow some IP, deny some IP. Based on the port number, protocol, it can allow some traffic, it can deny some traffic. This is one of the security features. Then you have a NAT. NAT is a network address translations. NAT main job is to translate private address to public address. Also public address to private address. Because private address, they cannot communicate to the internet, right? In our IPv4 world, private address, they cannot communicate to the internet. That's why we need this NAT. Now, other important things we have called DNS. What is a DNS? DNS is a domain name system, or we call it name servers basically. So DNS servers hosting name and IP address informations. So basically, when you type any name, for example, we type www.google.com.au, we know the name, but computer need to understand the IP address. So then name to IP address, we need to translate. So it knows the name, but computer need to know the IP address. And that's why DNS is very important. So every device, if in the internet, if they need to access any website or web pages, they definitely need to have a DNS servers. Usually DNS servers provided by ISP, or in a way that when you configure the small router, small business router, we actually forward all the DNS query to ISP, and then ISP perform the name resolution for us. Now DHCP server, DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. DHCP server's main job is to assign IP address automatically. That is DHCP server's main job. So DHCP and how it functions. So DHCP servers provide IP address automatically, but sometimes if some PC don't get IP address properly, or there's a IP conflict happen, that kind of scenario, we need to kind of like refresh the IP address. In Windows machines, we can go to command prompt. After that, we can apply ipconfig/all. In this way, we can see whether we have proper IP address or not. If we do not have proper IP address, then we can say ipconfig/release or ipconfig/renew. In this way, we can release the old IP and renew the new IP, or we can request new IP address from the DHCP server. In this way, PC need to get the proper IP address from the DHCP servers. Then it will be able to communicate. So DHCP server's job is to provide IP address automatically to any host, any mobile phone, any PC, any computer. Some more technical questions. Let's say what kind of router switch you have worked for and what kind of configurations you have done. Let's say for a small business network, we must have to have one router at a minimum. That router can provide you switching functions. That kind of router can provide you routing functions. So that kind of router can provide you wireless functions as well. It's like a small business router. This is all in one. With that, pretty much you can assign, you can pretty much with that small business router, you can assign IP address to your LAN. You can provide wireless wireless network to your wireless devices. Also, you can communicate with ISP network. So pretty much a small business router, it does pretty much all the job you need. And those kind of small business router, you have like 4 ports as well, easily. So they provide the LAN connections. But in an enterprise network, we are using separate Cisco router, for example, and separate switch, and layer 2 switch, layer 3 switch, and separate wireless access point to provide the wireless connectivity. In the market, there are other routers. We have, let's say, Juniper, Ubiquiti, Daytrek, Fortinet Gateway, There are many brands of router, like Dell, HP, they also have a router and switch as well. But small business router, let's say D-Link, TP-Link, they are very popular in the market. Now routers will log in via browser, set up LAN IP. So a small business router, if you need to set up easily, you need to log in via browser. Then you can set up the LAN IP. You can configure Wi-Fi. You can reset the Wi-Fi password. You can check the firewall configurations as well. So majority of the businesses, they are using like small business router, similar to your home router, or a small business, they're using the small router. Do you have any server experience and what you have learned from the servers? So basically, server operating system, when especially Windows servers, is another operating system similar to your Windows 10. But server operating system, with that, we can perform different tasks. For example, we can go to server managers. After that, we can install new roles. And then with the Windows servers, you can configure Active Directory services. We can configure Active Directory domain services. We can configure DNS servers, DHCP servers. We can use that Windows servers as if file servers. We can share the file from Windows servers, and all the client they can get the share from that one. Then access the file from local area network once you share, and also those shared uh, when you do share those shared files, you can also map with your device as well. That is called map drive. From your certification course, what you have learned. So in the interview, they can ask like, what, as you said, or in your resume, you mentioned that you have done certification course. They can ask, let's say, for example, if you have done AWS solution architect or AWS practitioner, they can ask, tell me something about like what you know about that AWS and what you have learned from there. Maybe from something from Cisco. What do you know from the Cisco certification course? What do you know from the Microsoft 365 certification course? So they can ask some questions like, let's say you have done that particular certification courses. So tell me something about that particular certification. They can ask some questions around that. Then how do you do patch management? So Windows update, server update, etc. So patch management is very important. That's part of our Windows system maintenance. So usually, if you have only one device or two device, three device, you can go to Windows settings, and from there you can manage the updates. Basically, you need to update the PC. But enterprise network, they are using WSAS. With that, they maintain update as well. But update is very important for the Windows client side. Let's say Windows client, Mac operating system, then Windows servers. All of the server, even the Linux servers, all of the servers, they need proper updates. Usually those provider who create this operating system, basically they provide the updates, but as a IT professional, we need to update those informations properly. And update basically fix many bugs, many security issues it can fix as well. Now ticketing system, with that update, fault report, fault management. So what kind of ticketing system you're using? You can say that you have used like Jira, or maybe you have used Zoho, and part of this Zoho ticket management system, you basically create ticket, update ticket, reply to customers from the ticket. Also, that ticket can be used for report generation purposes as well. From some of the ticket, you can remote log into customer devices, similar to AnyDesk. Also, you can do chatting as well from some of the ticketing system as well. But you always talk about the ticketing system you have used. You always mention about that and what you have done with that. You need to tell that. Customer communication. So this one is all about like how you communicate with customers, maybe phone, maybe via email, or with your ticket management system, you can communicate with your customers as well. So this is part 3, technical questions. So technical questions, part 3, how does offboarding works? So onboarding means when a new user join in a company, then we need to create username, their login details, their computer login details. They may using some applications. All the applications, uh, the applications they need username. So those username we need to create across all the applications so they can access those applications. After that, once you set up the new device, like Windows installations, maintaining all the updates, creating or installing all the applications, then we hand over that laptop to the user. That is called onboarding. Offboarding means when the user leave the company, we need to remove all the applications or uninstall all the applications from the computers. Also removing all the license for those all applications. Application means maybe they're using, Google Chrome, they're using Zoom, they're using some VPN, connections, they're using Microsoft 365. So some applications they need license as well. Teams account, Slack account they're using. So we need to, part of the offboarding, we need to remove everything and back to our computers in a default mode. Sometimes you need to set up printers and scanner as well. So usually like people may have some issues like they cannot print out. Maybe they want to print, but print is not printing properly. It could be some issues, maybe customer computers do not have proper printer drivers. So you need to install the printer drivers properly. Also, you need to check like whether it could be related with the printer network issues. Maybe network is not connected or wireless issues happen with the printer. That's why it's not printing. Or it could be with printer issues, let's say maybe paper jam or some physical issues happen with the printer. Maybe there is no paper at all. So all these kind of things we need to uh, check and troubleshoot around that. Now backup related questions, let's say usually any files and folders we can back up to any external disk, right? If you have any external disk, we can put a backup over there, or we can back up to OneDrive. OneDrive is a cloud-based solutions. If you save your informations to OneDrive, it will keep a copy in the cloud. In this way, if something happened with your on-premises, still you'll have those informations in the cloud. In the market, there are many different backup solutions available. Let's say Commvault backup, Veeam backup. So many large company they're using those kind of backup system. Mostly cloud-based backup. Let's say you want to put a backup, you have maybe a few terabytes of files, and you want to put a backup, you can back up to their locations. Then part of the security, let's say antivirus software is one of the common thing. So when you do onboarding during that time, we install the antivirus system for the customers as well, customer laptop, because that's protect the entire host. So there are many antivirus software available. Their main job is to deny some unknown traffic, deny some malicious traffic, and allow the legitimate traffic. So this is one of the important things we need to install inside the computers. So in the market, there are many different kind of antivirus software available. Let's say ESET, Bitdefender, Trend Micro, Webroot, Norton Antivirus, McAfee. There's many of them. So they are doing all similar sort of tasks, but depends on the company. They using different one. Now virtualizations. That's one of the common thing these days we have. So virtualization means from the physical servers or physical computers, we can create virtual machines. For example, Microsoft, we have Hyper-V, right? We can use Microsoft Hyper-V, and by using this Hyper-V, we can create virtual machines. Each of the virtual machines, they work in their isolated environment. So advantage with virtual machines, we can install different operating system over there. Let's say Windows operating system, Windows 11, Windows 10, Windows 7, also Linux operating system we can install. And good thing is, if anything happened with virtual machines, we can rebuild another virtual machines. Hyper-V. So Hyper-V is for the Microsoft, but let's say Oracle VirtualBox is free. Oracle VirtualBox you can download in Mac operating system or Windows Home operating system. Yes, it supports Windows, Mac, or any other operating system. It supports all standard operating system. You can download Oracle VirtualBox, and then you can configure virtual machines over there as well. So virtualization is very important and very popular in the market, and many people using virtual machines in the cloud as well. Over there, they deploy their Active Directory domain services, or they deploy usually some application services over there. And basic desktop support, what do you do? List 5 desktop support you do in daily basis. Let's say day-to-day basis, we supporting our customers. We get the faults via ticket system. Maybe we supporting maybe some new person want to join a company, so join to a company. So we need to install and configure all the apps uh, and all the apps. So those kind of things we do like with the dedicated laptop. Or sometimes we have some internet issues happen, we fix those issues. Sometimes some customer cannot print out, we fix their printer issues. Maybe some customer may have some Wi-Fi issues, we fix that one. Sometimes some customer has difficulty to install some applications. Some customer, they don't have proper admin right. So that kind of scenario, we need to install those applications for them. Yes, so they cannot log in. Sometimes some customer may have some login issues. They forgot their password. We fix those issues. Some customer, maybe they do not have licenses. We need to assign license. Some customer, they want to access particular share file, but they don't have proper share, or they cannot access. So we help them to uh, uh, access those files. Pretty much these are the areas day-to-day basis desktop support environment we are working. VPN, we talked about just earlier. Side-to-side VPN mostly is similar to wide area network connections. Let's say you have a office in Sydney and office in Melbourne. You can have side-to-side connections over there. And remote access, some people, they working from home and they want to connect to the company network. They want to access, company servers in that network. That kind of scenario, they are using remote access VPN. So remote access VPN also very popular. Many company they using this remote access VPN. Cisco VPN is very popular in the market. But there are other companies, they provide this VPN support as well. Microsoft also, they provide remote access VPN services as well. So what kind of remote support tools you are using? You can say in this kind of scenario, I'm using AnyDesk, I'm using um, TeamViewer, they are very popular. In the market, there are some other tools as well available. But mostly in our context, AnyDesk, TeamViewer, we are using a lot. Zoho ticketing system, they also have some kind of remote management tools as well. But our customers, we're flexible and they're flexible, and we are using AnyDesk, TeamViewer in our environment. Also, you may get asked these kind of questions. What is the cloud computing? What do you know about that? So cloud computing means, let's say something is running cloud provider premises and we are remotely access those services. For example, Gmail you're using. So Gmail you're using from your mobile phone, but the Gmail server is located in Google. So that's also software as a service. You're using Facebook, that's also software as a service, but they're kind of free service. But in the company, like they providing those software as a service like Microsoft 365. All the email, OneDrive, and everything we are using, that's Microsoft 365. So basically, you are using those, that's software as a service. Google G Suite, Microsoft 365, they are software as a service. Platform as a service means, let's say AWS, Amazon AWS, and also Microsoft Azure, they provide the platform. Platform is they provide .NET platform, Python, PHP, those kind of platform they provide. And developer, usually they build their all the code and stuffs, and they can host their applications over there. So platform provided by this cloud provider, and developer, they can deploy their application services over there. And infrastructure as a service means, let's say your company do not need any infrastructures. They can access everything from the cloud. Let's say they can access um, everything from the cloud. Let's say you need a virtual machines, you can create your virtual machines in the cloud. You need a storage account, you can create a storage account in the cloud. So those kind of things you can do with the infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure means you do not need anything. They're going to provide the infrastructures, and top of that, you can create your virtual machines, storage account. You can create a load balancer. You can have virtual firewall. You can have even virtual wide area network connections. You can say Microsoft Azure, they provide um, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. Both Microsoft and AWS, they provide this. But software as a service provided by Google. Let's say Google G Suite is a software as a service. Microsoft 365 is a software as a service. Microsoft Intune is a software as a service. Now, technical questions, best practice, show yourself as an IT professional as you're fixing IT issues in your day-to-day basis. So when you answer any questions, it's not like a amateur way, it's more on professional way you need to answer those questions. Let's say you worked with those stuff. So professionally, you need to answer any questions. You always think about yourself as an IT professional, not like an end user. End user means something happened, you asking how to fix that, how to do that. But when you have a IT professional, your intention will be knowing how actually you can resolve that problem, from where you can get the informations. Majority of the cases, you can get informations from Google. If they ask like, how do you know if something you don't know how to fix it? So how are you going to fix that issues? You can say, I can go to Google, I can find out some informations. These days we have the chat GPT and those kind of like um, artificial intelligence. So from there, we can also collect some informations. Based on that, we actually can find the solutions majority of the cases. Also, like we contact with the vendors. Sometimes some company, we contact them and they can provide the resolutions for their application services or something. Yeah. Yeah, if you have Microsoft login issues, you have a MacBook, some Apple ID issues happen, something like that, or warranty related issues happen, you need to contact with that vendors and they're going to provide you those informations. But in here, mostly we're talking about, you need to think about it as an IT professional, not the end user way. You always think about yourself, you're an IT professional. Something you know, that's fine, but you going to find out like how to fix it. Try to answer the questions in a proactive way, simple technical way to user can understand. Sometimes interviewer may ask you some questions, but you answer them in a way that makes sure like they can understand. Even like some technical things you are explaining to them, but you explain in a way that it's easy for them to understand like what you are saying. Let's say the printer is not working because of the driver. So Driver is basically one of the software, and Driver is a free software you can download from online. Let's say Brother, HP, those kind of printer provider, they have this driver available. You download those driver, install inside the computers. Sometimes you need to restart the computers after installations. Then your printer should start to work. So you can explain that how this driver pretty much functions with the printers. So you need to go with simple way. So make sure like they can understand that one. and try to answer any questions based on your technical knowledge, but something you do not know, you just technically you just say that I need to get bit more information around that, then I can provide you proper informations. Also providing improper or half information, so that's no good. So that's why you can say that I need to get bit more information around that, then I can provide you details, solutions for that. And always when you answering like questions, make sure like you technically sounds good, and always stick with the questions they are asking, and also uh, don't bring any new questions or don't bring any new complexity. When you answer in a simple way. In this way, they can understand basically what they are looking for. So pretty much these are the most common technical questions we have. And if you follow these technical questions, especially these questions, you write down the answers. Like what is a DNS, what is a LAN, what is a DHCP, what is a Active Directory, what is Azure AD, all these things you write down the answers. And then you do some practices. You already work with those stuff, but you also need to know how to communicate these informations with the interviewer. And that is the key things. So if you go through this properly, I think you should be fine with your, interview questions with your technical part.